The Brave Girl Who Walked Alone at Night. Opening hook. Narrator calm, mysterious tone. Have you ever walked alone at night? When the world is silent, the shadows seem alive, and every sound makes your heart skip a beat. Tonight, I want to tell you the story of a beautiful young African woman whose courage was tested on a lonely path beneath the moonlight. This is the story of Maka. Scene 1. Introducing Maka. Narrator. In a small African village surrounded by rolling hills, tall grass, and ancient baobab trees, there lived a young woman named Maka. Maka was known throughout the village for her beauty. Her dark skin glowed like polished ebony beneath the sun, and her long braided hair danced in the wind as she walked. But what made Maka truly special was not her beauty. It was her courage. She had a kind heart, a strong spirit, and a determination that inspired everyone who knew her. Maka visited her grandmother in a neighboring village. They spent hours talking, laughing, and sharing stories from long ago. But time passed quickly. Before Maka realized it, darkness had already settled across the land. The village elders often warned people not to travel after sunset. Yet Maka knew she had to return home. Carrying a small lantern, she began her journey through the countryside. Above her, thousands of stars glittered across the night sky. The moon cast a silver glow over the narrow path ahead. For a while, the walk felt peaceful. Crickets sang their nightly songs. A cool breeze whispered through the grass. Everything seemed calm, until strange sounds in the darkness. Narrator, slower, suspenseful. Rustle, rustle. Something moved in the tall grass beside the path. Maka stopped. Her grip tightened around the lantern. She listened carefully. The grass swayed, the shadows shifted, but she saw nothing. Probably a rabbit, she whispered to herself. Trying to stay calm, she continued walking. A few moments later, rustled, snap. A twig broke behind her. Maka spun around. Her heart raced. The moon had disappeared behind dark clouds. The path seemed different now. The night felt deeper, colder, and much more mysterious. Remembering her grandmother's wisdom, narrator, fear began creeping into Maka's thoughts. What was hiding in the darkness? Who or what was following her? Then she remembered something her grandmother always said. Fear grows in darkness, but courage creates its own light. Those words echoed in her mind. Maka took a deep breath. She raised her lantern higher. And with renewed determination, Maka reached an enormous baobab tree standing beside the road. Under its branches sat an old traveler wrapped in a worn cloak. He looked tired, weak, lost. As Maka approached, the old man looked up. "Good evening, daughter," he said softly. "I seem to have lost my way." Maka hesitated for a moment. She was alone, far from home, and standing before a complete stranger. But kindness was stronger than her fear. She offered him water from her flask. Then she showed him the road leading to the nearest village. The old traveler smiled warmly. Scene 6. A mysterious gift? Narrator, gentle, magical tone. The old man looked into Maka's eyes and said, "Your courage is matched only by your kindness." At that very moment, the clouds drifted apart. Moonlight flooded the landscape. The old man's eyes sparkled like stars. Before Maka could speak, he placed a small carved pendant in her hand. Then he said, "Whenever you face darkness, remember the strength that already lives within you." Maka looked down at the pendant. When she raised her eyes again, the old traveler was gone, vanished, as though he had never been there at all. Maka stood silently beneath the baobab tree. The pendant felt warm in her hand. A strange sense of peace filled her heart. The sounds in the grass no longer frightened her. The shadows no longer seemed threatening. She continued her journey home with confidence. And before long, the first golden rays of dawn appeared on the horizon. She had made it safely home. Ending and moral. Narrator, inspiring tone. Years passed. Macca became known not only for her beauty, but for her wisdom, kindness, and courage. Whenever children asked her why she was never afraid of the dark, she would smile and touch the pendant around her neck. Then she would tell them, "The night may be dark, but the light inside you can always guide the way." And so, the story of Macca, brave young woman who walked alone beneath the stars, was passed down from generation to generation. A reminder that true courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to keep moving forward despite it. Narrator, if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a little courage today. And remember, no matter how dark the path may seem, the brightest light is often the one within you. Fade out.